Welcome to my vision news. Breaking news is from Sudan, where rapid support forces RSF, led by Hamdan Dagalo, have agreed to a 24-hour ceasefire after direct talk between Hamdan Dagalo and U.S. Secretary of State Antony Blinken. Secondly, Egyptian planes have been destroyed in Sudan. Satellite imagery has confirmed the damage suffered by Egyptian fighter jets deployed to a military base in Sudan. Thirdly, Al Burhan has made an offer. He has announced to pardon all RSF and other militia members who are fighting the army and who are willing to surrender. Firstly, viewers, Antony Blinken, U.S. Secretary of State, and Hemedti Hamdan Dagalo, head of RSF, held a phone call a few hours ago. Hemedti confirmed the phone call on his Twitter page. RSF issued a statement. And Hemedti said that RSF was honored, RSF leader, that he had been contacted by Antony Blinken, U.S. Secretary of State. U.S. Secretary of State urged Hemedti to agree to a ceasefire. And after that, a few hours after this phone call, Rapid Support Forces issued a statement just a few minutes ago. Now, Rapid Support Forces, RSF, have agreed to a 24-hour ceasefire in Sudan. Ceasefire on humanitarian ground for evacuation of injured people, to give some relief to civilians who are caught up in this war, who have nothing to eat, and to evacuate, obviously, members of international community. We know that UN has also been asking for a ceasefire. Around 48 hours ago, a 3-hour-long ceasefire was agreed by the parties. The ceasefire could not be completely implemented, though it remained in place in some areas. Now, a new temporary ceasefire for 24 hours. Let's see, will the ceasefire hold or not? Hemedti has agreed, but RSF in a statement said in the announcement about ceasefire that Sudanese Air Force jets are still bombarding civilians and they are violating international law. And he urged Antony Blinken to take action. So interestingly, US is emerging as a key player in Sudan. If the purpose of this escalation was to diminish US influence in Sudan, it has not worked. In fact, US is emerging as the most important player, like we saw in Ethiopia, that US-backed dialogue led to signing of peace deal in Pretoria. Same seems to be happening here so far, though no peace deal obviously signed, no agreement. But if Hemedti has agreed to a ceasefire request by Antony Blinken for 24 hours, it shows the clout which US has. It means that Hemedti is willing to listen to the US. He wants to forge ties with the US. It's very clear now. Russia, which has been trying to establish a naval base in Sudan, and generally it is said that Hemedti is backed by Russia, is nowhere to be seen. US is making some very intense diplomatic efforts to put an end or to make the parties agree on some sort of ceasefire in this conflict. Yes, diplomats here, Western diplomats, UN officials, all playing their part. Russia issued a statement. I have not seen any intense efforts by the Russian side for a ceasefire. But from day one, we have been seeing that Western diplomats, UN, they have been trying to convince the parties to agree to some sort of silencing of guns, some temporary ceasefire. Now Hemedti did not announce start of talks. He did agree to any mediation. He only agreed to ceasefire for 24 hours. But if he has agreed to ceasefire, he could agree to talks as well. What does it mean? Does it mean that rapid support forces are under pressure? That is why they could not attain their objectives in Khartoum. They could not completely control airport, Sudanese army headquarters, presidential palace, and now they want international community to be on their side. Can we say that? Or is it because of Hemedti's desire to forge ties with the US? Difficult to say. No matter RSF achieved its objectives or not, but RSF has caused lots of damage and destruction at main sites in Khartoum city. I shared satellite images with you from Khartoum yesterday showing destruction at Khartoum International Airport, buildings destroyed, main markets bombarded, and some of this destruction is due to the airstrikes being conducted by Sudanese Air Force. But obviously, RSF's attack on these strategic sites also led to damage and destruction. So, things starting to move in the right direction. Are we heading towards a close of this war in coming days? It seems that RSF's initial attempt to take control of all major sites in Khartoum did not succeed. It's like Russia-Ukraine war. Russia attacked Ukraine in February last year. And when Russia launched the attack, first target was Kiev, Ukrainian capital, through airborne operations, through entry from Belarus. Russian forces tried to seize the capital. They could not. Then they reviewed their plan. They retreated from Kiev. They shifted to eastern Ukraine. And since then, eastern Ukraine has been the center of fighting. So here, let's see what RSF does. Will it continue its operations in Khartoum? Or will it return to its power base, which is mainly Western Sudan? Secondly, viewers, Egyptian planes have been destroyed at an airbase in Sudan. Satellite imagery has confirmed the damage. We have seen fighting between RSF fighters and Sudanese military for the control of Marve Air Force Base, situated to the north of Khartoum capital. The airbase has changed hands in the last 72 hours. It was under the control of Sudanese military. Then RSF came there. Then we saw Sudanese military back in control. And yesterday we heard of fighting in the vicinity of airbase. Now, satellite images are being shared from Marve airbase, which show, you can see a picture on your screen showing yesterday's satellite images from Marve. One Egyptian MiG-29 fighter jet has been completely destroyed, confirmed through these images. Two have been partially damaged reportedly. Now there is nothing to doubt because it's clear that Egyptian soldiers were taken prisoner by RSF and their planes were destroyed. Will Egypt retaliate? Some activists are claiming that Hemedti spoke about Egyptian involvement in this war. I could not confirm Hemedti's such talk. I only know that Hemedti called Egyptian soldiers as brothers. He said, Egyptian soldiers taken prisoner from Marve are brothers and they'll be released and handed over once situation is peaceful. I don't know about any talk by Hemedti accusing Egypt of being involved in support of Sudanese military. Satellite images are being shared from Khartoum International Airport as well. From yesterday, Maksar shared images from Khartoum International Airport where 14 aircrafts have been destroyed. You can see an image from yesterday from Khartoum International Airport, 14 civilian aircrafts were destroyed since the start of this war, and several were partially damaged. So you see what this war is doing to Sudan, a country already in the grip of a severe economic crisis, is now seeing destruction and devastation. Civilian infrastructure, military infrastructure, all being wasted, people dying, life to a standstill, people just at their homes, and they have nothing to eat in most cases. We must not forget, this war erupted suddenly. People had no stockpiles of food at their homes, and then no long ceasefire announced for people to buy food. So that is why this 24-hour ceasefire agreed by RSF is crucial, because people need to buy food. They have nothing to eat. Thousands would die of hunger if there is no intervention by international community for some sort of ceasefire for a few days. Lastly, viewers, Burhan has announced that Sudanese military is going to pardon all those who are willing to surrender their arms. It is an offer to RSF fighters, basically, that those RSF fighters who want to join the military, who want to quit their armed struggle and lay down arms, are going to be pardoned. They're going to be welcomed. Let's see, will RSF fighters agree to this offer made by Al Burhan? RSF is asking the Sudanese military commanders and soldiers to join RSF. They say Al Burhan is a criminal, he's a radical Islamist, and the military officials, commanders should join RSF. And Burhan is making an offer to RSF fighters to surrender and be pardoned. Let's see. Thank you for watching.